Fusion World community, welcome back to another video with Kyle Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new blue leader coming out in set 3. This has been dubbed HaloKu. There's some other very, Ku type names. I think HaloKu probably fits this deck the most. But this is the new blue deck that we're going to see in set 3. And as most of the content creators, as well as myself, have very high expectations for this deck, let's run through the leader, some of the archetype itself, and then a deck concept at the end of the video. And as always, if you guys do enjoy the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. All of your support does help and matter. So we will start with the leader. On the awakened side, whenever we attack, we draw 2, place 1 card from the top onto the top of our deck from our hand. So this allows us to see an extra card per turn, which I believe is the only leader currently in the game that has the ability of doing that, which is very good. Activate battle on your opponent's turn once per turn. Switch 1 card in your battle area to rest mode. Then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card gets 10k for the battle. Now this is very powerful for a few reasons. One, this counts as an extra 10k once per turn that's not a card costing from your hand, which is very strong. Also, it says 1 card in your battle area, so as you will see, we are able to play a field spell, which we are able to tap down to gain this effect, not necessarily having to keep a battle card in active mode, which could be somewhat difficult depending on what deck you're playing against, and also if you're not even swinging with that card, that also could be pretty difficult. So the main concept of the deck is to use this Orange Star High School card with this leader. Now, does this mean that this is the only way to play this leader? Absolutely not. But the archetype that Bandai looks like they wanted you to follow is sort of the Satan City archetype, which we'll go over. The field spell here is a 1 cost that also has an activate main. If you place this card in 2 of your energy and you tap 2 of your energy, you look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and then place 1 battle card. Play up to 1 battle card that costs 4 or less and Satan City in the special traits. And then place the rest of them at the bottom of the deck in any order. This allows us to cheat out one of our boss monsters, which is very nice. And since we're able to stack a card on top of our deck, we can always stack the card that we want to play, which then allows us to sort of generate the play line for ourselves. Now, the archetype for this deck is relatively small. There's maybe 5 or 6 cards that actually go in this archetype. One of them is the Erasa, which is a 1-drop that searches top 5 for a non-Erasa that costs 4 or less, and Satan City and special traits, which does you allow to search out the field cell we just showed, as well as the next 4 or 5 cards that we're going to go over. The next one is going to be Sharpener, which is a activate main, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card has Satan City in its special traits, during this turn, the next time you activate an extra card from your hand, reduce the cost by 1 blue. This is very similar if you played in set 1 to the Balma that we received. It's a very similar card to that. This one's also a 10k combo as well. So this does give us some very interesting play lines, possibly being able to play out the free field spell now or some other extra cards we have in the deck. Then we have this 1-drop Hercule. This is a 5k power, 10k combo. When attacking, reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card has Satan City in its special traits, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 2. Now, why would you think this card is good? Well, in blue, cost reduction is a very big thing. This allows us to bounce or bottom deck bigger cards without having to waste as much energy. So this card actually could be incredibly useful if you are going that route and with the archetype. Now, one of the SRs we do have is going to be this 2-drop Videl, 20k, 0 combo power, which is a bit, blue does have the least amount of 0ks. This card having 5k would have made it so much better. But when attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, add up to 1 blue non-Videl card that costs 3 or less and Earthling and special traits from your drop to your hand. So essentially allowing you to recycle cards almost like a peel-off card would. Now again, the one problem I do have with this card is that it is a 0k, as well as our next card, which is the second SR for blue, also is a 0k. So you kind of have to figure out which one you're going to want to run, and most people are going to pick the second one This card will find itself being played in some builds, but again, the 0k combo power is a little problematic, so just be careful when you're playing this card with the rest of the 0ks you have in the blue archetype, and if you're playing play sets or you're playing a small amount of these cards. It's a very good card, but the 0k definitely is a turnoff to it. Then we have the boss monster of the archetype, which is going to be Sun Gohan Adolescence. Very awesome looking card. 4-drop, 30k, 0k combo. If you have 7 or fewer cards when this card is played, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards that cost 3 or less and place them at the bottom of the other's deck. Very similar to the Sickle, which is what blue plays to bottom deck 2 battle cards that cost 4 or less. So with this, in tandem with some other cards you can play in the deck, you can really remove boards as well as being able to swing it out with it. So it's almost like a sickle with a body attached to it, right? Which is very, very good to think about. This card is super good. I suggest you pick up this card once the set drops. If you have any idea if you're going to be playing blue, this is going to be a staple for blue decks to come. Then we have a very... I actually completely forgot this card was printed as a promo, but the Sun Gohan Adolescence, 3-drop, 20k power, 5k combo. On play, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 2, then place 1 card from your hand at the top of the owner's deck. So this also allows you to cycle into your Satan City cards, allowing you to place the top card of the deck to potentially go into either one of the reveal targets or into the field spell. Now, I did not include any sort of play lines for this deck, at least in this part of the video. The main reason is this deck is really generic. There's not a lot of particulars that you need to do. So this deck can really be played however you would like it to. It's not as linear as something like Piccolo was, or even Jiren for that matter. This deck is very, very generic. You can play the Satan City cards, or you can not play the Satan City cards. It's completely up to you. But now we're going to go over the deck concept that I created, and we'll see what we have. Alright, so we have a 51 card list here for you to go over. We're going to start off with the 1-drop Cantrip Trunks from set 1. It's better in this particular build than Erasa would be, because that card, there are quite a few cards you're running that are not Satan City. So if you bottom deck those, you're a good chance you're not going to get those back, especially if you're running smaller quantities of those. So we just want the hard draw. I feel that's a little more beneficial for our current build. We do have 2 of the Hercules, which allow you again to reduce a card's cost by 2, which is honestly very strong. This is going to allow you to remove bigger cards without having to waste so much energy. We have 2 of the Sharpener, which allow us to reduce the cost of extra cards by 1 if we reveal a Satan City. And 4 Peel-Off. This is an oldie but a goodie. Probably blue's best staple, if not one of them. 1-drop grabs back any Earthling that costs 1 or less if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand. If you see the 3 cards before us, including itself, are all 1-drop Earthlings. So we can grab any of these cards back. Both the Hercule and the Sharpener are also 10Ks, which can be very valuable as well. We have 3 of this new Goku, 2-drop 20k. When attacking, you draw a card and you place a card on the top of your deck from your hand. This is another version of the Gohan promo, essentially, allowing us to cycle more cards and placing those cards on top of the deck to use for our Hercule, our Sharpener, as well as the field spell. We have 4 of this 2-drop Vegeta. This might be one of the most underrated cards for the set. A 2-drop crit that allows you to take a life. This is very different for what blue has had the past 2 sets. Blue kind of lacks very good awakening cards, and this being a crit card that's also 20k that also takes a life, if we know from red with the Khalifa, this is going to fall right in there as well. Thankfully this card is not searchable off of Satan City, or else I would have put the Erasa card in, which is another reason why we just want to have the Trunks, just so we can hard draw into this guy. This guy's going to help us early game, which is applying pressure and also being able to awaken ourselves. 4 of the Vegito. This is again another oldie but a goodie from last set. If you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, all of your opponent's battle cards are reduced by 1, and when it's played, you bottom deck a 1 cost. Meaning, if you play this, you have 7 or less, You can turn that 2-drop into a 1-drop, bottom deck it from there. Also, this works very well with the Hercule, because you can have a Hercule on board. You can swing this, reduce something by 2, and then play the Vegito, which will then reduce it again by 1, meaning you can bottom deck a 4 cost off of this effect here. So technically you're paying 4 for them to bottom deck a 4 cost, but if you already have the Hercule on board, it saves you an energy there. But Vegito is probably going to be a 3 or 4 of in most blue decks, at least for the next set, just because of how powerful this card is. We have 4 of the new promo because of the cycling ability, giving us an extra card draw, and then setting up our Satan City effects, and also being a Satan City card itself. Just kind of checked every box that we want for this deck, and being a 20k stat line is also pretty good too. If this was a 10k, this card would be incredibly expensive. I'm sure it's going to be kind of expensive going out the gate, but it is a very, very good card. Next, we have 4 of the SR Gohans. This is going to be one of our boss monsters early on in the game, helping us clear boards. And this card doesn't really solve the problem that blue has. Blue typically struggles against green. This card doesn't really help you against green. It might help you against like the Android deck because they play a lot of 20Ks, but everything else is going to be 25 to, 5K or 5 energy plus. So this card doesn't really help you in that matchup. It does help you sort of solidify your red and yellow matchups, you making those matchups very easy. In the tandem of this and the Vegito, while it's already on board, you can then snipe 4-cost battle cards. It's really strong. It's going to give a lot of people problems. 2 of the Vegito Secret Rare, just another card we can use. Pair this with the Vegito. Pair the Vegito with the 3-drop Vegeta or Hercule. You can bottom deck some pretty big cards and also swing twice. 2 of the Vegeta SR, being able to bottom deck a 4-cost and then swing double strike. This is going to be one of our big game enders. 1 Goku Black, just to have an extra card for late game. Best target to play off of this is going to be the Gohan here, which is pretty solid. So I think 1's enough. We do run we have a lot of 0Ks now in the deck. This what adds us up to 7. So that's quite a bit for most previous blue builds. So we just wanted to keep this down to 1, just so we're not getting caught in situations where we have dead cards. 2 Zenos for board clear. 4 Fidels, which is going to be our super combo of choice. 2 of the Orange Star High School. This is a 2 of doing a lot of just gold fishing. It seems that you draw this card pretty effectively, and then also being able to like have like a sharpener on board. This makes it so that you don't technically have to waste the energy for the high school. So you can let's say you know the top card because you have a Goku or you did a Gohan or something and you have a sharpener on board, you can just activate main, reveal the top card, and then just slam this card down for free, and now you have access to it already. 2 Sinister Sickles. Even though we are running Gohan, it's still good to have this card available to you, just in case you don't have the Gohan. But also this helps really well if your opponent cheats something out with a energy marker. So that's a big thing, is especially if your opponent goes second, obviously they're gonna have the energy marker. Unless they're playing against black, I guess they can always have the energy marker. But they'll generally try to slam. They might try to slam down a 4-cost on like turn 3, and then you can use this for 3 energy to snipe that card. They wasted their energy marker, and now you can sort of establish more dominance because now you're going to be a little bit ahead of them. Their curve's going to fall off a little bit since you did that. 3 Gallic Guns for cycling and later on in the game and combo power, and then 2 Absolute Lightning for those pesky late game matchups against yellow and green. So this is the build here. Again, doing some hand testing, some gold fishing. This felt pretty good. Again, you can always adjust some stuff in here if you find something to be a little bit better. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this leader, of the deck, of the set. If you guys are going to be playing this leader down below, let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you guys for supporting the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next Dragon Ball Fusion video.